on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
Good morning. It's 6:07 WMAL News Talk 105. You are listening to O'Connor and Company. I'm Patrice Onwuka alongside Andrew Langer here in for vacationing Larry O'Connor. Andrew, good morning.
Hey there. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great. Listen, happy to be here. I love being here.
Well, we love having you. We love having you. It is always a joyful day when you're here with us, and I get to be with you today.
Yes.
So this morning, we've got here at 7:05, Corey Lewandowski, Senior Trump Campaign Advisor, to give us the latest rundown on the campaign. 7:35, Sheriff Chuck Jenkins, local Frederick County, Maryland Sheriff. He's going to be talking to us about the Georgia school shooting yesterday. 8:05, KT McFarland, former Deputy National Security Advisor, to President Trump, and author of The Revolution. KT is going to be here to break down some of what we're seeing on the world stage. And then at 8:35, Sheriff Mike Chapman, Loudoun County Sheriff, is also going to be weighing in on yesterday's Georgia school shooting. But right now, we've got a treat with us. James Rosen, you know him as the Newsmax White House correspondent. Yeah, he is here to give us the latest on President Biden's schedule. I didn't even know President Biden even is still around. Good morning, James.
Good morning to you both. That's why I exist, to pay attention, so you don't have to, but President Biden is actually, in a sense, hitting the campaign trail today. He's headed to a battleground state. He's going to near the city of La Crosse, Wisconsin. But it's billed by the administration as an official event and part of an official tour that will only by happenstance take him to battleground states. And this is called the Investing in America Tour. And it's designed, as Mr. Biden's aides put it, to educate people about how the various legislative successes and triumphs of the Biden-Harris administration are benefiting Americans economically. The concern behind this is that a number of those legislative successes contain provisions which won't really fully kick in time for voters to feel the benefit.
Right.
And so Mr. Biden himself is hitting the road now with what salesmanship skills he still possesses to achieve that function. Tom Perez, who's a former chairman of the Democratic National Committee and is presently and former Secretary of Labor and is now serving as the Director of Intergovernmental Affairs at the White House, opened up the press briefing at the White House press briefing room with Karine Jean-Pierre on Tuesday. And really sort of roasted for the nakedly political character to what is being billed as an official set of events. But Mr. Perez told us that educating the voters is an essential feature of governing.
All right. You know, it's interesting because there was this piece the other day in one of the leftist publications about how Kamala should not be focusing on the economy because the economy is taking a downward turn. They're doubling down on Bidenomics very clearly, James. And you're right. I mean, I heard that clip of Perez. It was a bunch of economic gobbledygook, nothing sort of more from Kamala. I mean, how do you see this playing in places like Wisconsin and Minnesota and Michigan?
Well, your reference to Bidenomics, which was a brief-lived and failed slogan from the era of the Biden presidency, is astute because when Tom Perez was briefing the White House press corps on Tuesday about this Investing in America tour, it suggests first that if it is the goal of the Harris campaign to avoid talking about the economy, Mr. Biden will not be complicit in that he's going to go out and talk about the economy. But specifically, Tom Perez was asked, do you still endorse the term Bidenomics? And why is the term Bidenomics being used anywhere in the materials associated with the Investing in America tour? And Tom divested himself of a lengthy answer, did not include the word Bidenomics, and when pressed about that, still did not utter the word. And so finally, A few scattered chuckles were heard as this reporter yelled from the back of the room, as he is compelled to do by not being called on, "Say the word Bidenomics. Say it for us, Tom." For the record, he did not.
I'm not surprised he didn't, because it's so interesting. They're trying to she's trying to unburden herself from the past so that she can move forward to what can be in the future. The problem is her name is on. She was the tie-breaking vote on a lot of the signature Biden-Harris, Bidenomics, Kamalanomics policies, whether you're talking about the American Rescue Plan, that inflationary bill that set off inflation to hit 9.1%, or some of the other tie-breaking, the Build Back Better bills that were pared back down to the non-inflation reducing Inflation Reduction Act. I mean, you can't untether Kamala Harris from those policies.
I can't imagine that is the realistic prescription offered by any of her aides, either in the administration or the campaign, because it would not be, to use the sort of terminology that's been on vogue in politics for some time, it would not be meeting the voters where they're at if you were to ignore the economy as a subject.
So, James,
in this cycle particularly, there are certain kinds of cycles where the economy might not be the number one issue, nor ordinarily it is. But say after 9/11, security might have been a more prominent topic on voters' minds. But right now, to borrow the immortal words of James Carville, it's the economy, stupid.
Well, speaking of the economy, stupid, I'm going to guess it's probably going to be one of the first or top questions asked next week. The presidential debate featuring Kamala Harris has been set, ABC News, for next Tuesday. What are you expecting, and what might we be surprised will happen next week?
So Vice President Harris is decamping to Pittsburgh, site of the debate, today, with no other events listed on her schedule. So it appears as though Ms. Harris is entering the same kind of Michael Jackson-like EO chamber that President Biden entered before the June 27 debate.
Wow.
It strikes me that the idea that she would literally set aside several days in a row to do nothing but debate prep is inconsistent with what we used to see in political campaigns when I was growing up and paying attention to this stuff. But it used to be just one feature of your day as a candidate. Sure, you set aside some time for debate prep. It speaks to the moment. It speaks to the stakes. I saw where the Republican pollster and analyst Frank Luntz was saying this debate is everything. That isn't so quite strictly true, but it's important, especially since we saw the consequences for Joe Biden. It's not to say similar consequences are in the offing here. These are going to be the nominees. But I think that the attention that the Harris campaign has paid to the rules, trying up to the very last minute as of yesterday to try and overturn some of the rules that were put in place when it was a Biden-Trump debate, including the muted microphones, which the Trump campaign has now embraced, tells us something about what the Harris campaign had planned. The idea that they wanted the microphones to be unmuted tells us that she wanted perhaps to try and play the prosecutor with Mr. Trump.
I think so.
To reprise some of the moments she's had in Senate hearings.
I think so. James, we've got to leave it right there. I think your assessment, though, is 100% right. We're going to be looking for how she plays the now muted mic moments and see if she can walk away with that Kamala moment. James Rosen, Newsmax White House correspondent. We look forward to the next question that you shout, and let's see if we'll get Biden to say Bidenomics. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you both.